with beverage.
We
Neat.
stan.
Do you have to? Is it like a beverage in a glass?
No, it's in this this tumbler that looks like a
Okay.
cup with a
Because
straw.
I was gonna say, if you gotta
It looks
crack
like a
open a
Starbucks
soda
cup.
can, better do it now. But we're ready to go. Is everyone sound off? You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
I only have one wig. For a cosplay.
It's been one wig since you looked at me.
Oh my god! And I put a barrel in my mouth since
and
then.
I'm angry.
Okay. So everyone, just a few seconds of silence, and then we'll get kicked off.
Sounds good.
That's the second of silence.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Systems Go Home, the All Systems Go podcast experience of your dreams. I'm Jeremy Fardman, your host. We have Corey McGinnis.
What's up? What's up?
We have Darian Bolin.
Hey, all, Darian here.
We have Dan Snyder.
Here to take everyone's money.
We have Max Schilling.
Howdy, gamers.
All right, I got the name right. And we got Kyle Eads.
Insert clever name.
Great. I'm glad we could all get together because it has been a stressful week. Obviously, for all of us, we don't have the same pressures that a lot of people are dealing with right now. And it's just sort of been eye-opening to me. Really, I've been thinking a lot, and it's just been difficult for a lot of people. And I just want to... I am by no means an expert on this. I don't want to pretend to be, but I just want to say to everyone just to be aware of your rights and to exercise those rights as much as you can and do whatever you can to help others exercise their rights, because that's it's such an important part of this country and just life in general. And I know it's just been hard for a lot of people, so obviously our hearts go out to everyone, and we just we're hoping for better days.
Yes, indeed.
So one thing I want to start off with is just things just keep seeming to get worse, and just when you think we're approaching the end of the tunnel, it seems to just keep extending. So I just want to ask you all, like, what's one small thing that's been making your life happier, and one thing you can recommend to people to help get their head cleared and see the perspective?
That's a double parter right there. That's a two-parter. What would be making someone's life happier, and then what they could do for other people to make their lives happier?
It's more like I can say like what makes you happy. It's just like, well, it's a different question with like the quarantine stuff. He's like, oh, I just binge Netflix. That makes me happy. But I'm talking about like what makes your life, like what helps you rise above it all, I guess is what I'm saying.
I would like to start off by saying what makes me happy is starting a podcast with my friends.
Absolutely.
That has made me quite happy. That has helped keep my sanity intact. That has helped me get through some very rough times. After that, my go-to number 2 would probably be working out. Exercising is always great. Number 3, probably running with my dog. Because, if you don't have an animal, I would highly recommend thinking about getting one and deciding if the possibility is
if you can
feasible for
appropriately
you.
take care of
Yes.
a dog. Some people
Yes.
can't afford to do that.
Dog,
Just 'cause
animal,
you
hedgehog,
can doesn't mean
Portuguese, mutt hound, why not? Why even not a kitty cat?
Yeah, those are all great suggestions. And
Yeah.
definitely they ring true for me as well. Darian, what about you? What has been helping you stay above the clouds?
See, that's tough. Like, the way I usually go through life is like every morning when I wake up, I try to think of like one thing, no matter how small, that I'm like looking forward to doing that day. Like maybe I'm gonna eat some good food, or maybe I'm gonna like play a game I enjoy, or watch a movie I enjoy. Just finding like those little things like that to like keep me like motivated to actually get up out of bed in the morning.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. Corey, what about you? Same question for you.
I have a lot of little things that just make me happy. I'm a big gamer. I'm a big weeb. I'm also a composer, so I write a lot of music. There's just a lot of little things that like keep me going because I know that I can always pull something out to do it.
Absolutely. I know I personally, like, I think creatively a lot, but it's another thing to, like, get it down on paper. I find, like, that's a really, because it, like, clears up space in your head that was occupied by all those thoughts. And then once you have it out there, then it's, like, room for other things to come and, like, just keep recycling the blood, or so to speak. You know what I mean?
Recycling the blood. I've never heard that, but I like that. I'm gonna start
Recycling the
using
blood.
it.
Recycle the blood.
Did you get the rights to that saying before the Twilight books were made?
I'm going to say no to that one, but I think there's just a lot of blood draining going on in that one. It doesn't really recycle. Kyle?
That's me. The thing that's been keeping me going, honestly, it's been a few things. Just taking time, like, to hang out with friends and, like, not hang out, but, like, talk to friends, like, I mean, like what we're doing here, like Dan said. And then I also, like, I almost every night play video games with my friends, whether it be Overwatch, Uno, of all things. And the other big thing that I've been doing recently is I've been going on a lot of walks, getting a little, like, reflective on, like, like, it is a terrible situation of what we're living in right now, but you still need to, like, I still take time out of my day to, like, just relax, let it all go, and just listen to the birds chirp, listen, and just hope it's gonna be okay sooner rather than later. And just, like, listen to, like, podcasts and stuff like that. Not just, I mean, this one is the best one, but there are other ones out there that are pretty good too.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Max, any similar ideas or other things?
Yeah, I've just been trying to do one productive thing a day. Really, either apply for an internship, clean around the house, go for a walk, like you said, just do one thing where I think, okay, even though it's kind of hard to really accomplish anything at this time, just knowing that I did at least one thing today has really helped me just kind of go, get from.
For sure. For my part, I've logged off of Twitter everywhere, and it's just obviously there's so much important stuff going on there, and I think it's a really good skill for you to be angry at the state of the world and to turn that anger into something that makes a difference and is productive. But I really don't have that ability. When I get angry, it really just sort of stops me in my tracks. So I've been focusing more on, like, finding outlets to sort of pay it forward and to spread love, and I think that's just as important to getting a world where everybody can feel like they are safe and they have they're protected.
So
agree.
what you're telling me, Jeremy, is I can stop DMing you clips from anime that I think you should watch because you're not going to look at them because they're out of Twitter.
I mean, you can keep doing that if you want, but yeah, know that I'm not going to be paying attention to that stuff.
I would also like there to be a quote up on the screen. Jeremy, it's good to be angry. 2020.
It's good to be in touch with your feelings, and it's good not to suppress stuff. But
because if you bottle it up and you never let it out of the jar, boy oh boy, we call that some Irish therapy right there. Eventually that jar just breaks.
There's a Mr. Rogers song about effectively using your anger and making sure you don't hurt other people who want to help you.
And we stand Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers
bless that
is
man. We
really a
need him
perfect
right now.
person.
We need him right now.
We need
The
him.
Mount Rushmore of perfect people
Yeah.
are Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and just them again. It's them twice.
You know what we need to do? With
what
the
about
world being
Steve Irwin?
with the world being in
That's a
turmoil,
good one.
what we need to do right now, it's going to sound a little sketchy at first because it's going to involve a little bit of grave robbing, but we need to dig up all three of their corpses, take their DNA, just a sample, and find a way to create the perfect being of niceness from their DNA and just put it in, like, I don't need, not even the White House, just give it a microphone. Eventually that kindness and that goodwill and that great nature is just going to get enough attention all on its own. Word of mouth is just going to spread and happiness will just surround us.
In
So
lieu
are you
of
guys
that, I think we just have to do that ourselves.
are you guys ready to do some grave robbing?
I don't think we have the signs for that, Dan.
Yeah, we got to finish this podcast first.
Okay.
I'll be the one to answer yes.
After this podcast, we'll go out there.
Gonna need to finish applying stickers to your
Who's the
microphone.
fourth? I'm
Yes.
still on this.
I have a $25 gift card to Home Depot. That'll get us started. That'll give us some like really moderately mediocre shovels. That'll do the trick. That'll do the trick.
They're like
After that, we're
plastic
gonna need
shovels.
2 more gift cards to Bed Bath & Beyond, so we can start building the science set. If we watch enough episodes of Breaking Bad, we'll understand
the
how
Beyond
chemistry works.
section. Just go to the Beyond section of
Yeah.
Bed Bath.
All right, so thank you for indulging me with that sort of check-in. And just to state it definitively, Black Lives Matter. And now let's get on with the rest of the podcast.
Yay! Welcome to
Very
All
much
Systems
wholeheartedly
Go.
That's right. So I'm going to look at the sheet here. Dan, you've just given me a cornucopia of stuff here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just let you choose something and go with it.
Let me choose something. Oh, ooh. All right, let me pull out my dart gun.
Was that a good choice?
Also,
Is this-
cornucopia?
Cornucopia.
That's a keyword right there.
It's three things. It looked like more when I first looked at it. But
It's still a cornucopia because it's sort of that horn shape.
yeah, sure. I mean,
it's a
it's
triangle.
more like a
Yeah.
triangle, but yeah.
Horns are triangles.
Horns are not triangles.
Dan, why don't you tell me about the Lawnmower Man?
Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're getting to the Danimal review early. This week's movie review came down to a revisiting of the great masterpiece known as Logan, and then this little-known cult film known as The Lawnmower Man. What we
Oh,
need
you said
right
that
now is...
backwards.
What's that?
Making a joke. Go on.
Oh, okay, so this little-known cult movie known as The Lawnmower Man was responsible for great leaps and bounds in PC and Hollywood. That is because the premise of the movie is about science and the progression of human intellect through virtual reality. That's right. Apparently, back in the long year ago of 1992, we thought that virtual reality would be able to unlock inner intelligent parts of our brain that were never before tapped into. Imagine Lucy with Scarlett Johansson, only with virtual reality instead of a drug. Well, Pierce Brosnan plays a scientist working for a secret government underground base, trying to weaponize the brain. Now, Pierce Brosnan, with all of his skills and technology, finds the perfect test subject in the man who mows his lawn, who has an IQ of 34. He decides to test out all of his experiments with virtual reality and mind-altering drugs to enhance his memory, kind of in the same vein as Flowers for Algernon. However, the company that he works for soon gets wind of this project and realizes the progression they're making, and, of course, none other than Mr. Dean Norris from Breaking Bad, Hank, who is just sporting the most beautiful British, Australian, Irish, Norwegian accent. I don't know what accent he's trying to do.
Those aren't similar at all in accent.
Oh, yeah, you should listen to his accent. He was really
You should
trying to
hear the
just go for a
accent.
variety.
Does
yeah.
it change like every scene? Like that'd be
Yeah, it's-
awesome.
In middle of a scene, it'll change. This movie is a masterpiece to tear apart, because as soon as Hank and his company decide, hey, we can take this virtual reality, mind-altering Flowers for Algernon, intelligence improving equipment and drugs, and we can militarize it. So, of course, they try to turn Job, is the Lawnmower Man's name, into a humanized mental weapon, and of course he gains superpowers, because why not give superpowers to the man who has an IQ of 34 and rapidly becomes the man with an IQ of like 300 and mends himself one with space and time. This movie is a beautiful movie to make fun of, because it is just so gosh diddly dang darn bad. It has 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is one of those movies that you just crack open a couple of beers with some friends with, and you just beat this movie to death because it is bad. The special effects are bad. The CGI is bad. I've seen better CGI at bowling alleys when I get a spare. Not even a strike.
That's a very, very good reference for that.
Yes. Running time is 1 hour and 48 minutes. You will laugh hysterically the entire time just with how terribly bad this movie is. Highly recommend it. I give it a 10 out of 10 on the poop scale.
It's not
And
bad.
that is my review of The Lawnmower Man.
Great.
Wait a
In
minute.
my head, I had thought it was with Stallone, but that's Demolition Man.
Oh, yes. No, that movie is actually moderately good. It's another really terrible, 80s bad movie.
So Dan, I have a challenge then for you now that I hear about this, because
Yes, sir.
I myself am a lover of a bad movie.
Mm.
I think a bad movie is sometimes harder to make than a good movie because
Yes.
That being said, there is a Lawnmower Man 2.
Yes,
Are you-
there is. There is also a director's cut with 34 extra minutes, and boy, howdy, I cannot wait to watch it.
So can we expect Lawnmower Man 2 review in the near future?
Could you expect a video essay? You'll have to
I'm-
see. It depends if society is still going to be intact 2
Dan,
weeks from
what do you
now.
think the probability is of a Lawnmower Man reboot in the near future?
I don't know. How much time does All Systems Go have to make this a possibility?
Can TV2 fund Lawnmower Man 3?
KSUIF, we'll get them.
Yes.
I
We
mean-
demand the rights to make a
Heck.
Lawnmower Man 3.
There
Heck,
was
man,
a
it'll
Rick
probably
and
have a
Morty
higher
episode.
budget if we make it.
Oh, yes.
I will
If you
star as
look
the
at the budget,
lawnmower.
the lawnmower.
I'm actually curious now.
The
What was the
Lawnmower.
budget for this movie?
There was a Rick and Morty episode too.
Oh, well, Rick and Morty has spoofed quite a bunch. And The Lawnmower is a different movie. Especially when it made a guest appearance in Sinister.
Oh my god!
That bone-chilling scene.
Oh yeah.
So Dan, you talked about how bad the CGI is. I just looked up just to check out what the budget was, and I'm seeing screen caps, and my god, it's worse than I could have imagined.
Oh, yes.
I wonder
this
if
the,
Power Rangers in this doesn't look. Oh my god!
Well, speaking of Power Rangers, Kyle, let me know where you're at. Where's the Power Rangers train? What station are we pulling into?
So, the last time I was on the podcast, I think I just finished Time Force, and if I don't know if I had finished it yet. Basically, my consensus with that, Time Force is, it's really hard. Time Force is probably the best season yet. Well, it was at the time. Then next you move on to Wild Force. Wild Force is, I want to like Wild Force more, but it's not, because it does some really good things. However, I think there are moments in Wild Force that drag it down and just nothing's happening. And there are characters that are just there to be characters and aren't actual meaningful to the plot. Which shouldn't, your Rangers should all have unique qualities and be likable and not just be there to exist. And I
Right.
think the Blue and Black Rangers specifically they're just kind of there to be Rangers, and they don't really do anything out of that. So I think I gave, as I try to check my notes, I gave it a C, which sounds, no, I gave it a C plus, which sounds really low, but I mean, it has its flaws. And then I finished Ninja Storm, and Ninja Storm is the first one to, I guess, a little more inside baseball. Ninja Storm is the first one that was owned by Disney, because Disney bought out Power Rangers after.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the first however many seasons up until halfway through Wild Force was owned by Saban, which broadcasted on Fox Kids. And then halfway through Wild Force, Saban properties were all bought by Disney. And Disney's original plan was just to syndicate everything. And they weren't just gonna remake remake toy lines, do all that stuff, and not make any more Power Rangers.
That
Well,
sounds in character for them.
Yes. Well, they found out it would be cost effective to keep making episodes, more toys, and everything if they move production to New Zealand and use theirs actors and all that stuff. They did that, and everything got moved to New Zealand. And then Ninja Storm was the first one of that series. And Ninja Storm, like Disney, everything I think is silly down. I think if that's a way to say it. Everything is much more silly. Specifically the villain. He's less
silly down.
it's like I don't want to say dumbed down because it's not like the way it's done, but everything is much more silly and less like
sanitized, would you say?
Silly down
Yeah,
for what?
like
It's more for
it's
kids.
It's Disney-fied. Yeah, it's more for kids and less of like a serialized television show.
Okay,
Whereas,
so
like-
it's more like Disney's Power Rangers and a lot less like Mindhunter.
Yeah, or something like that. Like where like they're like in Wild Force, for example, the main villain has a whole monologue where he's yelling at talking to the Red Ranger about how he killed the Red Ranger's parents.
Dear God.
And he's like, I enjoyed every single minute of it. It's dark and menacing
Jeez.
stuff, and it's really cool.
What
I
a
never knew
psycho.
how much like child murder and like parent murder revenge there was in Power Rangers.
Dude, Power Rangers is dark when it wants to be dark. And then in the
Yeah.
next season, Ninja Storm, the main villain is just some evil warlord in a luchador mask. That's basically what Lothar is.
The budget really crashed for that season.
Oh, it's bad. Everything like he has like several different villains that instead of having super like effective plots, it's all like one-liners and jokes. The main sensei throughout Ninja Storm, through shenanigans, got turned into a guinea pig and is a guinea pig the whole season. It's just so like I guess sanitized, Disney-fied, whatever way you want to say it, and it's not. That's not to say it's all bad. There are a lot of cool things. There's a whole arc with an evil set of Rangers. That's really good.
Did this air on Disney Channel then?
This aired on ABC Kids, which was like, I mean, yeah, it's what we grew up on. And so I think it's mostly also because I had as I watched it as a kid. Ninja Storm was the first season I watched as as the episodes were coming out. And then I just had I put it on I guess a higher pedestal, and my expectations were a little higher. So Ninja Storm is good for those who like the less seriousness of it, which I do at times. But then I move on to screw it. I'm gonna say Dino. I can't even.
Dino Thunder?
Dino Dash.
Dino Thunder. Yeah, I don't know why my mind blanked on it. Dino Thunder is the best Power Ranger season.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's what goes without. Like Time Force is great, the acting is great, but there are moments in Time Force that I think aren't like my biggest gripe with Time Force is there's a whole arc with a character coming back to life, and his character kind of nullifies everything, and everything just kind of stops, and nothing really happens. Dino Thunder, it's low. Like the biggest complaint I could have is that you don't see is that Tommy Oliver from the original set, he comes back as a character, and there's a whole arc where he is stuck in his dino form, and you don't get to see Tommy as much. And if that's my biggest complaint about a season, you did something right, because it is not. That's the thing. Like early Power Ranger seasons it's the Tommy Oliver show with the Power Rangers. This is about the Power Rangers and Tommy Oliver. He is meshed very well. He's not just a stunt casting. All the characters, for the most part, are likable. The Red Ranger, kind of meh. He has several moments where makes non-flattering comments about women, but that's just the writing of the early 2000s. And I think it's fun. It's action-packed. There's a lot of explosions, and I know that will become an issue in later seasons. The team-up is good. The villain is probably my favorite, arguably one of the best villains so far.
I hear rumor that Al Gore is the villain.
I wish. Mesogog is so basically the whole plot is Mesogog is a dino hybrid human creature, and his whole plot is he wants to bring the world back to the prehistoric era so he could rule.
Back to the good old days.
That's basically what it is, and he's menacing, he's threatening. His villains are competent. And I will finish it by I'm gonna look for some specific notes that I can read off. Also, the only other negative is this also marks the episode 4, I believe, marks the 500th episode of Power Rangers, and it's a big honor. 500 episodes is a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
That is quite
And
an
how
achievement.
do they support this momentum occasion? A clip show.
Oh.
Oh.
And I get why they did it. It's a clip show of all the past seasons of Power Rangers up to this point, showing like here's the story of Tommy, here's the story of Lost Galaxy, here's the story of Ninja Storm, all this stuff.
That's
like-
that's as disappointing as the 2020 YouTube Rewind.
It's not as bad as Rewind.
It's as disappointing as the 2019 YouTube Rewind.
Yeah, the 2020 one is going to be even worse.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Can you even
gosh.
imagine? We'll talk about that
I
next.
don't.
So it sounds like you're really
What is it?
enjoying it. I'm glad.
I finished it like a few hours ago. It's probably my best. And I'm trying to look for my favorite note that I have. Oh, they do. My favorite episode of the season is an episode that's solely based off of. So basically, the plot of the episode is they are watching the Sentai, which is what Power Rangers is based off of in Japan, and they are commenting on the ridiculousness of the Japanese version of Power Rangers, and it's just so meta and it's so funny, and it has actually a really good message about not judging a book by its cover, even if it is ridiculous and silly. And it's really well done. It's a super funny.
Great. Well, we've heard of the Time Force, but have you guys heard of Space Force?
Space Force.
Space Force. It's a new show. This is not a show made in the 90s or early 2000s. It's made in 2020.
Oh my God! It's something current and modern.
It's something current. I had not heard about this show at all. It just showed up on the front page of Netflix, and it had Steve Carell's face. So I was like, well, it might be good. I'll give it an episode. And it turns out to be a really good show. I like it a lot.
I actually think I saw a trailer for it. It did look pretty good.
So you guys remember like a year ago when the president said we're adding a new branch of the military called the Space Force?
I do remember that. Yes.
Yes.
I thought that was
Last
a
year
joke. I'm
feels
not
like
even gonna
10
lie.
Yeah.
Last year feels like 10 years ago.
I know. I that's an estimation. I don't remember when that happened. But the plot of this show is that Steve Carell is a 4-star general who has been appointed as the head of the Space Force, and his sidekicks are John Malkovich as a very sarcastic scientist, and Ben Schwartz as the
Sonic the Hedgehog?
social media manager. And
I love it.
it's just great casting. It's like those actors were born to play those roles.
I haven't heard of Ben Schwartz's name in a long, long time.
He played Sonic.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
Wait,
Also,
who's the
doesn't-
guy that I'm thinking of that was in I Heart Huckabee and also Spun? Jason Schwartzman.
Jason
Never mind.
Schwartzman. He's been in like every Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, never mind. That's my bad.
Yeah, so the show is a comedy, but I feel like it's a lot more realistic than something like The Office. The characters do feel like real people to a degree, with the exception being like the other branches of the military, which are just like cartoon characters for effect. And like they have like weird like cameos in that, like Jane Lynch and Patrick Warburton are like the head of like the Navy and the Army. They're just in a few episodes. But it's mostly, it does have a continuing narrative, especially towards the end. But it's like the Space Force has to prove that it has a reason to exist compared to all the other branches of the military. Meanwhile, the Chinese space program is just being comically evil and like screwing up all the Americans' plans, which might happen in real life. I don't know.
Might happen.
It might.
Well, never mind. I'll save the COVID jokes for later.
We don't need those. But I think the supporting cast is also really great. Steve Carell's wife is in prison, so the show starts and then there's a 1-year time skip, and she's just in prison for a 40-year sentence, and the reason why is never explained.
I love that.
But it's, yeah, so there's a lot of fun that comes out of that, and like the stress that puts on his relationship, because now he's also raising his 17-year-old daughter, and they had to move out from DC to this sort of place in the middle of nowhere in Washington. So she's really upset that basically her whole former life was cut short, and she doesn't have any new friends, and so there's a lot of depth to that relationship that they're trying to build out. The show also has a lot of good diversity. So John Malkovich's character is gay, and that's not really played for laughs at all. They have an Asian character, a black character, and it's met with a lot of respect, which is good because the future of the country is cooperation between everyone, and we need to make sure that everybody has a chance to share their ideas.
So we definitely need more of that today.
Yes. The one little criticism I have is that as the episodes ramp up and they approach the climax, they really just sort of skip over a lot of the timeline stuff you need to make a successful space mission. Like in the first few episodes, it's like, yeah, hey, our goal is to make a moon base by 2024, and we don't know if we can do that goal. And then by the last few episodes, it's like, hey, we're just going to do that now. Go ahead. And it's like, okay, what happened to the sort of realism with the scheduling before?
There was just a montage off screen. It's fine.
Yeah. So I was really pleasantly surprised because this had not been on my radar at all, no pun intended. And
But I'm this.
I do want to put out a note to all showrunners. I don't know if this was mandated by Netflix or what, but if you don't know you're getting picked up for a second season, don't end on a cliffhanger.
Ooh, yeah, no, Netflix is notorious with not giving shows another season.
Yeah.
They've been quoted saying, we just don't see it necessary to give shows even a third season.
And
yeah,
the way
it's just the third season.
The way streaming shows work is that they really tend towards cliffhangers just to, especially at the end of seasons.
It's to keep the demand for the show up.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is awful with that.
Yeah. Well, Stranger Things became awful.
I don't think it's awful. I think it's still pretty good.
Well, considering they only planned for one season, it definitely took a dip in quality as the show went
actually,
on.
they did say from the beginning that they had like a 4 or 5 season plan for it.
What? No, they were only planning on one.
No, they said
I heard it was
for a
3.
while. They said they had like a 4 or 5 season plan.
Oh, okay.
And like Stranger Things is definitely not as good as it was in season 1 because season 1 is just like, but like it's still good except for that one episode in season 2, which I don't feel the need to name because I think everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean my favorite episode of Stranger Things? I'm dead serious. I love that episode.
Different strokes. So, with regards to Space Force, yeah, it's a lot better than I was expecting. I do hope there's more because it is like the most cliffhanger of cliffhangers you could possibly imagine. But I thought the character stuff worked really well in that show. I forgot I was gonna bring this up, but there's like a monkey who is fully fluent in English via sign language, and I thought that was another weird example of the show breaking reality. But hey, it's one episode. Yeah, Steve Carell's back.
To see it.
Great.
Very nice.
Corey,
That's me.
you have a few things listed here. So
Always.
I don't know what you're most passionate about, so I'm gonna leave it up to you.
I'm going to talk about my book. We never talk about books that aren't comic books here.
Yeah, you're right, and I want to read more books. So tell me about this book.
This book is called Date Me, Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. And it's my go-to genre, queer YA romance. And it's basically about this senior in high school who doesn't do high school dating, but all of his friends dare him to for the second half of the school year. He has to date a new person every week, and it's the first person who will ask him out on Monday morning. I think they had a manga that had the same premise. I don't know.
I was gonna say that sounds a lot like that sort of plot, based on what I have observed.
Yeah, so basically it's about Bryson is the kid who is with the dare. And then our main character, Kai, just goes for asking him out, even though this is the first time a guy's tried to do it. And, dare, he says yes. So the whole book is just about their relationship for the whole week. And it's just a nice, cute story.
So it only lasts a week?
Well, normally it would only last a week. Naturally, it's gay romance. It doesn't just last a week.
All right.
It lasts.
How long does it
days.
normally last? What is the typical time span there?
The same as any relationship, I imagine. It all
Yeah.
depends on the couple.
It's like,
It was just said in such a way. It's like no, that time frame is just wrong.
Dan is building a
the
wall
time
out of
frame isn't
stickers to shield
wrong. It's
himself.
just- the book is about with the dare, each relationship only lasts from Monday morning to Friday when school ends. But they're the main characters in a romance novel, so
How long is it?
it's like 350-ish pages, I think.
Okay. So a healthy size.
And it lasts a week.
No, it goes beyond the week.
Yeah.
But like the time period of a book. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never mind. I'm still
honestly.
The book is longer than a week.
okay. I'm
If you tore out all the pages and laid them end to end, it would stretch out for a whole week.
Possibly, I don't know. I read it in 12 hours max.
What?
Oh boy. So has that author written anything else, or
No,
did you
this
pick
is
this
his
up on
debut
a
novel.
neat? It's always
Yeah.
good seeing new authors get their books published because it's really hard for a new author if they're not writing like a series. Because whenever I go to look for new books, it always says like book 3 in the Dark Unicorn series. And like, well, I just want like one book that stands on its own, but that's really kind of discouraged with the economics of publishing.
Yeah, this one is standalone. At least as far as I can tell.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I guess because you're our Dark Souls guy, do you want to talk about Dark Souls?
I can talk about Dark Souls.
Oh, real quick, can I ask something?
Yes,
Have
Do
you
it.
played Code Vein?
I have. I did a review when it came out.
I remember
So I
that.
wanted to ask because how was it compared to Dark Souls?
Dark Souls is better, but Code Vein has its moments.
Alrighty.
I also have a question.
Speak.
Have you played Ashen?
Not yet.
It's good.
Is this
It
the
is
segment where we
on
just
the
ask
list.
Corey what games he's played? Is that what this is now?
No, we're just
To be
asking about
fair,
other
they're all
Souls-like.
Souls-like.
Corey, have you
Yeah.
played Earthbound?
To even start that, Kyle.
Hey, Corey,
This
I
is the
have played
most amount of
Earthbound.
dialogue we have gotten out of Corey this whole series.
No, Corey told that
Don't make
great Carmen Sandiego story, so he's in the clear for months.
Don't make him
That
aware
is
of it.
true.
Then he'll stop talking.
Cricket.
I can't stop talking.
I was
We've
right.
already pointed out that I'm about to talk about Dark Souls.
Yeah,
Welcome
so
to the
Corey,
new segment where
what
we
number
just ask
playthrough is
Corey.
this for Dark Souls 3?
This
Silence
is
your
number 1.
dog.
What is the fastest speed run?
Hold on, he's
So, Corey,
disciplining.
what is your fastest Dark Souls speed run?
My fastest Dark Souls speed run.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm about 35 hours in.
Oh, that's pretty slow, my guy.
If you do
This
a couple
is
frames, gives
My
you probably
first
knock
playthrough
that
of
down
this
to
game at
34.
max shilling.
He is also playing it on a DDR pad, okay? Cut him
This
some
controller is
slack.
not even plugged in.
Yeah, he's just been using
You're
telekinetic
right.
thought to control
My
his
team
character.
is in the oven.
His little brother's playing.
So,
My
Corey,
little
what
brother
took you
couldn't
so
handle
long
this
to get
game.
into number 3?
Did it take me so long to get into number 3, or have I owned the game for 2 years and just haven't played it?
Yeah, what took so long?
I'm bad at this.
We're all bad at this. I know I've got a backlog a mile long, but I just thought you were such a fan of this series, at least among the people I know.
I like Bloodborne. I do like Dark Souls 3, but they are pretty different. Plus, it got put into the folder of my games on the PlayStation, and I never played it for 2 years.
Okay.
Well, I started it.
So what are some
2
of
years
the...
ago.
When this game was coming out, I was just really confused because I didn't really know anything about the series. I was like, why did this come out a single year after Bloodborne? And like the timing of that didn't make sense to me. So what are some of the differences between this and Bloodborne? Because they seem like pretty different games with the same structure, but...
They are really different. First, the setting. This one is more like medieval fantasy type stuff, dragons, yada yada. And then Bloodborne is Victorian Gothic, cosmic horror type stuff. And then Bloodborne has like a whole different fighting system. They have like I'm trying to think of words.
Guns.
Bloodborne, you just have a bunch of types of weapons and then a bunch of weapons that are those types of weapons. And then Bloodborne, they just have like
That it's perfectly
30
clear.
or so.
There's no confusion.
I'm sure there is. I'm confused.
You confused yourself.
They're similar, but there are a lot of differences. They're not the same game. You can tell because they have a different name.
Oh, yeah. So, Corey, are you finding the loop of it as satisfying as you have with other games? Or does that start wearing thin?
I like it.
Same old Corey. Okay.
Same old Corey.
You like it, huh?
There are like 4 or 5 endings for this one, so I'm going to be at it for a while.
Okay. You're not the type of person to just get one and that's the canon?
No. It's Dark Souls. There is no canon.
Is that true?
I think there's a canon.
There's a canon, but they don't make it that easy.
Actually, me being completely not a Dark Souls fan whatsoever, I do know that the canon is hidden in mystery lore, and the creators of the game have made the lore and canon so complex and confusing. They said they would have a $10,000 giveaway to any fan or gamer who could correctly put together each piece of the story into a cohesive narrative. $10,000.
What,
I'd
like
like
a
to
book?
point out the
They said
absurdity
there
of the
was a-
phrase. I like to point out the absurdity of the phrase "any fan or gamer."
Oh yeah, I mean you have $10,000 on the table, man. I got involved in Dark Souls really quickly, and I've never played it.
What if someone is not a fan or a gamer? They're just doing it for the cash.
You mean Matt Pat?
I guess
So
I would
you're
fall into
not,
that.
it has to be a fan or a gamer. You're not allowed to win the money.
Yeah.
Of
you
course
mean
I know
that.
that.
That's in the
You
terms and
correctly
conditions.
guessed the entire history of the lore, yet you've never played a single hour? What? You've never played Tuba Simulator?
10 grand is 10 grand.
Exactly.
Money is money.
For sure.
Exactly. We need that. We need that especially as of today and now.
So yeah, Corey, is there anything else you want to add? Because I don't really have a lot of vocabulary to ask questions about this.
Sellsword Twin Blades are the best weapon in the game for PvE.
Well, I'll have to take
How
your
is the
recommendation.
PvE? Oh, PvE. I was asking.
What?
How is the PvE?
Oh no, they're terrible for PvP.
Oh, PvP.
Max,
What?
have you talked about anything yet? You may not have anything. I don't know. I don't mean to put pressure on you. I was just trying to
No, you're
remember.
fine. I've given my input on things, but yeah, I've just been still watching Attack on Titan and downloading, just configuring this new laptop, and I'll make sure to get some weird Steam games and give you a hot take next week.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Have you played Hatoful Boyfriend?
Yes, I have, and I highly recommend.
What? What's that called?
Hatoful
Hatoful?
Boyfriend.
That's the
Hatoful
You're
pigeon
the
game.
only
Boyfriend?
girl at an all-bird school.
Ooh,
Oh,
Misa
that
Misa
game.
Senpai.
Mhm.
It's
Make
the
me so
pigeon
excited,
game with a
99%
surprising
off.
dark ending.
Little known fact, did you guys know that the very historically controversial game Knight's Trap was just released on the Nintendo Switch for like a penny?
It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
on there
Night
for a
Trap?
while.
It's been
Yeah,
on
Night
there.
Trap.
Yeah, but they
It's been there.
they discount stuff all the time. so people impulse buy it and then never play it.
I have fallen into a let's call it the Steam syndrome, where I finally reactivated my Nintendo Online account, and it was just like, hey, welcome back. Here's these games for a penny, a dime, a quarter, 50 cents. The most expensive one I bought was like $1.34. I now have like 20 brand new games, and I'm probably only going to continue to play Tetris.
That's the way of life.
Honestly, Tetris is worth the price admission alone.
Yeah, and it's free, and that's a great price.
For sure.
Oh, that reminds me.
Going out with the dead meat.
Yeah.
20 more days until SpongeBob.
Oh, the SpongeBob counter has begun.
Wait, what's new SpongeBob?
SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Oh yeah, because you bought like 4 copies, right?
No, I have 1 pre-order.
You have 5 copies. Got it.
That's still 1 pre-order too many, I'd argue.
No, it's not Darian Bolin. Have you ever
Never
played this
pre-order
game?
games.
No, you haven't.
He's right.
Yes,
you
yes,
don't
I
pre-order
have.
games.
Yeah, don't pre-order games.
I only pre-order games if like there's a discount or something, when it just makes sense.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Don't give money to a game that you have not played yet, or that could easily be like bad.
The reviews go out like 3 days before anyway, so just wait.
Yeah. Listen up, all you Patreon fans or people who pledge money. Wait to
that's
throw
different.
money
That's
at something
different.
that doesn't exist yet. Hey, I have an idea. Give me
That's
my grand idea.
That
completely
Patreon is
different.
different than pre-ordering a game.
Isn't that just investing in a business though?
Yeah, but
that's just part of it.
Well, like crowdfunding a game is different because like they wouldn't be able to make the game otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're passionate about it, you should support it. Same with any creator. But like the game's gonna come out regardless of whether you buy it, and you can wait 15 days.
And they're probably not going to run out of copies, so the whole concept of pre-ordering to reserve your copy doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah. Now,
You're
if they said, "Oh, we're only making like 700 copies of this game," I'd understand pre-ordering.
Yeah, like the
'cause
limited
then
run
there's a limited
stuff.
quantity.
Yeah.
I don't pre-order too often. It's just SpongeBob. This is a game I already know I'm going to enjoy because I played it before.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, it's
Well, it
plus
could
they
still
added
end
new
up being like
content,
a broken mess on launch or something.
More than likely.
How dare you
But
throw
they'll
that
patch it.
accusation at the SpongeBob brand? It's
You're
spotless.
right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
and
SpongeBob.
They have like 2 good games. How could you say that?
You want to talk about it though? My a friend of mine, just speaking on like being passionate about a game. My friend Christo bought how many copies? I think he's bought 3 different copies of Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
Wow.
Wait, of just
I mean,
the
I
recent,
can't really blame the guy, but I do have one question about
just the
your
new
friend.
release, the one that came out the other week.
No, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Dan. I'll explain it in a second.
Okay, I can understand owning multiple copies of a game that you love. I have 6 copies of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. But did you say your friend's name was Crisco?
Christo.
Christo.
It's
Oh,
like
Christo.
It's like the first few syllables. He goes by
Like-
Christo instead of Christopher. So
Gotcha. I was
like the
about to
Count
say,
of
his
Monte
parents must have
Cristo.
really loved to cook with Crisco.
He was our Master
no.
Ops in the fall.
So he bought several copies of the game because he bought the collector's editions, and he wanted like the different, like national, like he bought the Japanese collector's edition, the European collector's edition, and then the North American collector's edition as well.
Wow.
I
Must
had
be nice
a
to have
friend in high school who was like a Xenoblade fanatic, and like he was basically an evangelist for it. And as that game just really offends me, I can't stand the sight of it.
Offends you?
Why?
My God.
Well, that might be too far, but there's just not
Wow.
really anything
you-
about it that I like. But then I came to the realization that's like, this is what I do all the time with Earthbound. So like I don't really have room to criticize.
Did you like lose to Shulk one too many times in Smash Brothers?
Yes.
No, he was talking about it before Shulk got announced for Smash. I just it just doesn't look fun to me.
I'm just not a big RPG guy.
No, I have high standards
Yeah,
for
like
RPGs.
I don't normally play RPGs, but I do play good RPGs.
Like
What
And
are
I
some
also
good
played Final
RPGs?
Fantasy 15, so I don't know.
That one was there.
The best RPG is Animal Crossing.
No,
me wrong.
Earthbound.
Lies.
So does anyone have any other desperate topics to get to before we reach our final segment?
I like how you
I
called them
kinda have some
desperate
stuff.
topics.
Sure.
I kind of
do
have some
have-
stuff.
Sure.
It's
sure.
not. It's nothing major.
I'm just trying to be time conscious because you want to leave.
Well, I don't want to leave. It's just
he
the
wants
last
to
time
leave,
we
he can
did. The
pull his
last time I
Irish
was on a
goodbye.
podcast, it seemed like we went on for so long.
I mean, would you really complain? None of our listeners complained. They all loved it, Kyle.
Yeah, Colleen said, "quote loved it."
Yes.
well,
Damn, Colleen.
I expect to do a podcast from 8 to 8:45, not
you know, Kyle,
8
it's really
to
weird.
to 11.
Kyle, it's really weird. All of our highest rated episodes, you just don't seem to be in them. It's weird.
Oh,
Which is
Oh,
okay.
no.
Which is weird because my other friends have stuff and I do like videos with them, and their highest rated videos are the ones I'm in. So
Mm.
Well, now I don't know what to believe.
See, Kyle would have hated
what-
it last week.
well, here's
maybe
something
you
you
should just
can
be with them
believe.
then.
Here's something you can believe. You can believe that the next Pokemon DLC is going to be coming out on the 17th of June.
Ooh.
Earlier this
Hell
week.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Pokemon is a game. I
Yeah,
completely forgot.
Pokemon
Yes,
Sword
it
and
is.
Shield, their first DLC, is coming out on the 17th of June. They had an announcement video, I think, yesterday as of this recording. And there's not much in the video. It was just kind of like, hey, here's the release date. Here's what you're gonna see. It wasn't like anything major. But there are a few notes that I do think are cool, based on fans of the franchise to begin with, because there are some changes. Specifically, the thing that I think is cool is the new Galarian versions of the Kanto birds. So that's
I'm pretty sure that's
Articuno.
in the Crown Tundra, not the one that's coming out.
Well, it's still information we didn't know because we found out what their types are.
That's
Because
true.
they're all, yeah.
This
So
is just
the
like getting news for All Systems Go proper. Just a bunch of
It
Pokemon news, and I'm just like, okay,
It's all Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I mean that's all. Yeah.
cool. That's
So
neat.
So there's the Galarian forms are going to be for Articuno. It is Flying and Psychic.
Wow.
I know you don't
Yeah.
care, Jeremy, but pretend to care.
We know
okay?
you
The
don't care,
listeners
Jeremy.
like
This
it when
seems
you
like a
just
minor
don't
thing.
care.
I don't know.
Colleen prefers that you pretend to care. That's all I'm saying.
Do it for Colleen.
Okay, Tell me about Moltres.
Moltres is going to be Dark Flying instead of Fire Flying.
Dark flying.
Ooh.
And then my favorite, Zapdos, is going to be Fighting Flying.
What?
Oh, that's
Ooh.
Is a
so good.
In the malarkey?
I'm just imagining like a
It's-
freaking bird with boxing gloves on its way.
And
Very
then
actual.
It's basically an orange chocobo.
one of the versions of the new Galarian version of Slow Bro, excuse me, is going
Yeah.
to be Poison Psychic.
Slow.
And I love that
Ooh.
because
Really
I love
good.
me some poison types.
It reminds me
typing
of
right
Mega
there.
Man.
Slow, bro. That's what happens when you pound too much natty daddy. Am I right, bros? Yeah.
Whoa, bro.
Also remember, please drink responsibly.
I broke my monitor, dude. No, not cool.
Please drink
Slow,
responsibly.
bro.
That is all the Pokemon news I care about. So there you go.
Okay.
Some
Very
good
nice,
typing
very
right
nice.
there. That's gonna be a fairy killer.
They should have
Thank
made
you.
one of the birds like lose its flying, and it's just like on the ground scrambling to get up. It's
That's
I
just
mean,
depressing.
That's kind of what they made Zapdos into.
it's still flying,
Yeah,
isn't
It
it?
doesn't look like Zapdos flies.
That's
I mean, it doesn't use its wings anymore. It's on the ground. It's like an ostrich. now.
When we got the first announcement that showed them, everyone expected them to keep the secondary type instead of flying.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That would
It's
be
like
fun.
they're
Almost
different
like,
creatures.
if there was like the Landorus, what is it, the Fiorian forms, I think it's called.
Therian.
Fiorian. That'd
Scaporian.
be really fun.
Okay, so speaking of game news, I'm sure you're all familiar. Previously, there was scheduled a PlayStation 5 big ol' video for tomorrow. It got delayed indefinitely, I believe. I don't know if there's a new date for it, but
There's not.
just
There
to
has not been.
make room for all the important conversation, which I think most people agree that was the right decision, and we can wait a little bit. But I want to now take the chance to talk about, I guess, the future of games, because we've talked about like the potential stuff they could show at this event, and usually people just say, oh, I want them to bring back Ape Escape or Ratchet and Clank or, whatever stuff we've seen before. But what I want to do is, let's say that at whatever press conference you want, it doesn't have to be this one, but they show you something you've never seen before. What is something they could show that could make you go, all right, I'm in, baby? Something that you just... something that you've always wanted, but nothing's ever given it to you, Something that just makes you jump out of your chair.
Grandma's Sewing Extreme Simulator.
Xbox
I will be
One
on that.
That are rechargeable.
You can plug this one in. Yeah!
Steal PS5 remotes, please.
We finally get a Nintendo Direct, and they say, hey, listen, we're going to fix our online servers because they're kind of trash right now.
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be nice.
But that's all stuff, like, that they need to improve on, right? That's like a problem we've identified, and they need to fix it.
You're looking for some wild idea, kind of like Papers, Please. Like, who would have thought that clearing passports at a foreign checkpoint would be any kind of fun, or how it would become very quickly addicting to where you're drawing out handmade instructions just to try to make the game better, because it's just so gripping.
Yeah,
Who
something
would have thought?
completely out of left field.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I've
like...
got something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, Sony holds an entire press conference. They announce one game. That game, Knack 3.
Oh my
See,
god.
I knew you were gonna. I knew, in my heart of hearts, he was gonna make a knack joke.
It's Knack, baby!
I tried to steer you as
Here
far
comes the
away
running.
from the knack as I could. I made every effort not to have a knack joke. But
Okay, let's start this
failed.
off. Let's have a location. Let's make a game here. Let's have a
Okay.
location.
So I really like the Tetris Effect / Res stuff of just like the psychedelic void, where it's like not even a given location. You're just sort of flying through space and all these like colors and like, oh, hey, there's a dolphin. That's cool. I want to keep
But we've seen
exploring
that.
that theme.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
No, don't say
I
it.
just thought of a game. Off of, I don't know what it is with these past few episodes, but you could say one sentence and all of a sudden it just creates an explosion in my mind of an idea.
That did not sound like an explosion, but continue.
He was
We don't have the rights to that
giving
sound
some whipped
effect yet, okay?
cream on his Sunday. That's what it sounded like.
Oh god! All right, so you were talking about keeping up like the Tetris theme and following up to the location. I immediately jumped to a space-bound first-person shooter where you have to eliminate, let's just say, life forms, alien life forms. But instead of having like a specific ammo that you need to shoot a specific life form with to do the most amount of damage, it goes along with a Tetris theme. It's gonna sound terrible, but who knows? This might be a #1 seller. Each of the aliens have a specific shape missing in their body. Like, that one Japanese show where they have to like pose in certain ways as the wall
in the
comes at
wall.
them and they have to
Yeah.
fit themselves into that shape. It would be
That
like
actually-
that. Only you have to
Man.
shoot the Tetris pieces in to the creatures to kill them or defeat them. And you can't just be like, oh, here's a single line, a straight line. Oh, that one's just block. No, you have to rotate each individual select piece to take down each individual target to fit whatever you're shooting into them to eliminate them. You complete them by destroying them.
That does sound pretty neat, actually.
It sounds like you destroy them by completing them.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Thank you, Corey.
That's an idea. That could be fun, actually.
Yeah,
Especially
that-
if you have to like really micromanage it a lot. If like they just start coming in super fast, you're like, oh god, I need a plus sign. Oh, where's the plus sign?
Like for a while there, everyone wanted the crafting feature in their game. What if for certain beasts you have to craft together certain shapes to defeat like a boss?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like you have to
oh,
plan
oh.
3 steps ahead. Like, okay, I can put in this piece now with the hope that I get the matching one like 2 shapes later, but I don't know that. But I'll get more points if I do.
And the bigger your piece
I'll
is,
be
the
right
more,
on this.
and the bigger your piece is, the more damage it does.
Right.
Yes.
which is like a balance. Like the bigger piece, it's like harder to maneuver it to like attack the alien with,
Yeah.
but it does do more
And
damage.
it's not as
so
good
it's
for your
Somebody call
combo.
Nintendo, we got a game to make.
Yeah, it's all about the combos.
Fun
And
does
did
at
All
Kickstarter.
Systems Go just become a game studio?
We could
This
call
is the
game
most
some-
fun part of game development. Everything that follows after this is painful and
Yeah.
horrible.
Painful work.
You right?
We could call this game something like Tetris Attack.
No, we have to
we
come up
might
with
get
our own
sued.
name.
Oh, it's new gen, so everything has to be like 4K.
Tetris
4K?
Attack 4K.
8K, come on.
Yeah, 8K.
16K.
Yeah, if we only have 3Ks in our game title, it's going to send out a completely wrong message.
You gotta do 2 or you gotta do 4.
So Kyle, what's something you've always wanted to do in a game, but you've never had the chance to do it?
Okay, hear me out, guys. Hear me out.
Okay. So
The
just
game-
cheating.
Sucks you in. And it's like a real life version of what Nick Arcade was trying to do. And you are actually the character you're playing as.
So
What?
The
Are
Sims.
online.
So this is an isekai.
So this
Hell
is Ready
yeah.
Player One.
What was
I'm
the
in.
game? What was the game in Rick and Morty season 1? You went back to
Roy?
the store, boo.
Roy. It was Roy.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like Roy.
Or The Sims.
want-
or Ready
I want
Player
that.
One.
Well, what do you,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
so
when
weird.
you're sucked into the game, you just live out a virtual life?
Basically.
I think they had a
Oh,
movie
yeah.
where they did this with Dragon Quest.
Ooh.
Was the movie
Well-
called Dragon Quest?
It was called Dragon Quest Your Story.
Oh my god.
Whose story?
Your Story.
Kyle's
My
story.
story?
It was weird that they called it Kyle's story. It really alienated most of the audience.
Oh yeah.
It alienated the non-Kyle gamers out there.
So people
Whose
were changing
story?
their names to Kyle just so they could play the game.
Yeah.
Mini
Whose
drywalls
story?
were
Yours?
punched.
You had to submit a driver's license in order to play. It's like, sorry, your name's Chad. You gotta go.
Many monsters were consumed. Many walls were punched.
So Max, same question to you. What's something that you've always wanted to do, but that you never had the chance to do it?
Huh. Honestly, I just like to see a lot more access for indie developers on the major consoles. Because if you want to enjoy a great indie game, you really have to go out of the PC. There used to be a bit more, I think, on the Xbox Marketplace. But yeah, if the new consoles, if they can make it much easier for new indie developers, maybe even provide some game developing tools, I think that'd be really, really exciting.
It's
Are you kind of
also-
are you talking about like kind of along the lines of Xbox Live Summer Arcade, where they would
Yeah,
showcase
similar.
certain indie games? And man, boy oh boy, I had some good memories with some of those.
My
Well,
idea
honestly,
to boost visibility of indie games is because, like you said, so many indie games come out, and it's like really difficult to get your game surfaced and in front of a lot of eyes, even if it might be a great game. So, like, you know how they used to have like demo discs that would have like demos of all these games
Yeah.
coming out? My dream is to like get a bunch of indie developers and like make demos of their game, and it's just okay. So if you like this, like a free download we put out every 2 months or whatever, and it has like 8 indie game demos on it. And
It's-
it's like,
it's
whoa.
like-
Go on.
It's like Humble Bundle, except with demo discs.
Yeah,
Kind of.
because it's
Dude,
like
yeah.
I'd be so into that.
it's one thing if it's like, oh, that game has a cool art style, but actually getting to try it and see if it is fun.
You know, there is something somewhat nostalgic about getting one of those demo discs, because you could download demos for games, and it's like, yeah, the option is there if I want it, whatever. But if it's actually sent to you, and you have that physical copy in your hand, there's something special about it. I
You ever
am
pull one out of
so-
a tissue box?
I'm about to pull one out of my CD case right now. I believe it is the Bayonetta demo disc from Xbox Magazine from
Oh.
back in the day.
Wow.
Back in the
It's
day.
ancient.
Wow.
Yes. Old man who does not take care of his body.
More demo discs would be awesome. I'm
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
so for this now.
I would definitely
about
go
this
back to the
life.
days for demo discs.
Well, just because it bring back one of my favorite YouTube series. But yeah, no, that's a real cool idea.
For the Switch, instead of disc, it could just be like little SD cards with demos, and you just pop it in, and then bam.
What
And-
if they do what they do with PlayStation Now and just put it on your console every 2 weeks
Yeah,
without
that's
you asking for it?
Yeah, just be like something that you just like sign up.
You know,
like,
people
subscribe to.
You know, people would get very upset that it's corporations putting this crap on my system that I didn't ask for, even though I signed up for it. Now this one's too much taking
I
up all my
think-
memory. Okay,
I
maybe
think
that
the
was the wrong
problem
word, but-
with something like that then is if there are companies who can't like you'd see like companies that are quote unquote indie putting out their game but have a ton of money behind it, so they market it to PlayStation. Hey, here's a bunch of money, put our game on a bunch of consoles, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
then
true.
I think you're totally eliminating the indie developer portion of that because
Yeah.
indie developers wouldn't have
Yeah,
a
that's-
ton of money.
Because
Yeah,
something
that's
like AAA games already, you're starting to see a resurgence of demos that you download it. Like I played the Final Fantasy demo a few months ago, and I thought, oh, that was cool. I'm glad I got the chance to try it because now I know I might enjoy that game if I buy it. But yeah, for something with low visibility like indie games, I think it helps to consolidate all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they only need to look in one place.
I'm not even gonna lie. I totally thought you were gonna take that Final Fantasy demo in a totally different direction. Like, yeah, the option to download the demo was there, and I downloaded it and I played it, and in case I ever bought it, now I would know that it's a piece of crap game.
Well, that part was fun. The beginning was fun. I don't know if the rest of it was good.
Speaking of piece of crap games, I have another Amazon review.
Whoa.
Yes.
In the interest of time, I'm only going to do one this time, but it's like a really good one.
All right.
Okay.
You'll send us out on this.
Okay. The headline is Trashy Game, but it's spelled Trahsy, so we're already off to a good start.
Vibe.
Trossy.
Trashy
Oh.
Game, yes.
Wait, did I miss this? Are you just gonna read a review from Amazon?
This is a new segment I started last week. I like.
Oh, I love
found-
this. I'm here for it.
I
Let's
found
go.
I found
so
1-star reviews of popular acclaimed games on Amazon. I'm gonna read them. You have to guess what game it is reviewing.
Let's hear
Okay,
it.
so here's the review. The game is bad. I bought it for my 11-year-old son. My best friend told me it was a good game for youngsters. The game has bad language and a sexy girl with a gigantic breast running around in the game. I do not recommend it to anyone.
Is this a Samus game?
It is not.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
No,
Is this?
I wouldn't
Bayonetta?
recommend that to an
Is
11-year-old.
that Bayonetta?
it is not Bayonetta.
You got to think, what would he buy for an 11-year-old? Because he wouldn't buy an
When was
M-rated game.
this review posted?
Is it Cooking Mama?
It is not Cooking Mama.
You're wasting all our
Rapper.
guesses.
It was posted
What
in
console is it on?
2013.
2016?
It is a
2015.
multi-platform game.
Okay. Something
Oh,
you
so
would
it's not
buy
like
for
Halo.
11-year-olds that's multi-platform.
He
And
would
a
have bought it for his
sexy
11-year-old, but did he know that it was an E for everyone game?
He would have looked, probably.
That's like when parents were taking their children to go see Sausage Party.
Well, his
Hang
best
on.
friend told him
Once
it was
again-
a good game for youngsters.
Repeat the year again for me.
2013.
Oh.
2013.
Was it Final Fantasy 13?
It was not.
Okay,
Oh, that was
looking for
multi-platform
acclaimed games.
system. No googling now. No googling. I see
Yeah,
you. I see you. Your fingers moving up there, Corey. Okay, so multi-platform, 2013, meant for
Yeah.
youngsters, but it had a big bosom booty lady in it
And bad language, yes.
and bad language.
When I tell you guys what it is, you are never gonna believe.
I can't remember
I have-
anything before 2017, so I feel kind of
Like-
useless.
No, do not say the name of the game. Do not say it yet.
Yeah.
If any of our listeners know the name of the game, put in the time code and take your guess. Top comment wins a prize.
Okay. Also, now that I know this is a segment, I'm gonna do this with movies. Oh, this is so fun.
Yeah, oh,
Don't steal his shtick.
No, we
I'm
can,
not-
we
we
can,
can share the
This is
spotlight.
we
Darian
can, we can share
content.
the segment. He'll do movies, I'll do games, and we'll bring them together
Exactly.
into one segment. It's a super segment.
You know what, Darian? We'll start our own podcast. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We'll do a
Systems
Voltron
branching
segment.
off. Okay, so 2013, multi-platform, meant for a little kid, or at least
Ah.
supposedly
Is
meant
this
for a little
Assassin's Creed?
It is not Assassin's Creed.
Was it
It's not
Leisure
for-
Suit Larry?
You would
Oh,
not buy
no.
that for an 11-year-old.
Yeah,
I could see this apply to Fortnite.
Tomb Raider?
Do you have a guess?
not Tomb Raider. Do y'all give up yet?
No.
I have.
I gave
Never.
up like an
I
hour
never
Dan, you
give
ago.
have to give up eventually.
I
Like,
never
Are we
did.
allowed? Are
Or
we allowed
Metroid?
to look up?
Phone a friend.
And if you want to make a phone call, that's on you.
But no, it's multi-platform.
Hang on.
Multi-platform is a big thing.
Wait.
All right.
No.
No, it can't be Gears of War.
Yeah, no.
Because that was like 2008.
Is it
Yeah,
Super Smash Brothers 4?
2013.
No.
Is it part of a bigger franchise, or is it its own standalone feature?
What are we defining as a bigger franchise?
Like, is it Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball?
no.
Good game for
Okay.
youngsters.
It'll teach them sports.
Okay. Are you allowed to look up like what games come out that year? Is
No.
that allowed?
Memory
You
only.
can,
No
but it might
Google.
not help you. You can, but it might not help you. Like, I gave you the year that the review was published. That doesn't mean that that's when the game was published.
Yeah, that's the most we got. Like last week, it was Desperate Housewives.
Is this one
It
of
was that
the
reference
older
that-
God of Wars?
No.
That's not a game for kids. Oh, so is this game actually made for kids?
I mean, it's not technically made for kids, but also it's not as inappropriate as the review makes it out to be.
Can you just give us like the
What's-
actual rating of the game?
Yeah. What's the rating for the game?
What do you mean, like the ratings of the game?
The ESRB.
Like, is it
SRB.
ET?
It is an E10 plus because E ratings don't
Okay.
exist anymore.
Okay, E10 plus.
God.
That does not help much.
I would.
It helps
it's not
a little.
Like cheat...
Yeah, that's true.
Is this a racing
I'm
game?
out.
No.
2013,
I'm out. I have no idea.
2013. All right, let's go back to the year of Gangnam Style.
I've given
That was
up.
2012.
What?
That was 2012, actually.
It went into 2013.
Yeah, it went into 2013. On December 21st, 2012, it hit 1 billion views. It was the first video on YouTube to hit 1 billion views, okay? Me and my friends were just living it up. We memorized every single
Simpler
lyric to that
days.
song we knew not a single word of.
Dan, you have to give up at some point
Yeah.
so we can continue this podcast.
No.
I don't.
It's a multi-platform game. Is
Yeah.
it a horror? Is it a shooter? It's for kids. E10 plus.
I guess in a weird way, you could technically call it a shooter.
I don't know. I gave up a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's definitely
What is
not
it?
Crisis 2.
Just
Okay,
tell us.
Okay, the majority have given up, so I'm gonna reveal it. It
Alright,
was
go ahead.
Portal 2.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Where's the big
insane.
booty-breasted lady in that?
The game is
You
first
play as
person.
one.
You don't really see yourself very much.
Yeah, you never.
I'm just kind of see yourself and like shoot a portal correctly.
Yeah, but that happens like 2 times in the whole game.
Bruh.
Okay, I want to know, what was the name of the person who made this review?
No,
Their
don't out
username-
this. Don't out the name.
No, wait, hang on a sec. Don't worry about it. Their username is Portal Hater.
Oh, that would have been a
Oh.
giveaway, I think. Yeah.
Troll baiting.
So they made the account just to air their grievances.
Let me see if they reviewed
Correct.
anything else.
Yeah.
No, they have reviewed nothing else.
Okay.
Well, I admire the dedication, if nothing else.
5 people found it helpful.
Hey, I mean,
You
it's-
go, Portal Hater.
There you go. I think Portal 2 is great.
When are we going to get a Portal 3? When are we going to get a Left 4 Dead 3?
Honestly,
We don't get threes, Dan.
Those are good questions with no answers.
Yeah. I really like the meme of Gabe Newell saying, like, oh, every single time somebody makes a joke about you don't know how to count 3, you're never going to get to see 3, Half-Life 3. I just push every single release date back another month. Get ready for Half-Life 3, released in 2054.
They seem to have reaffirmed their commitment to making that game, so who knows what happens.
Yeah,
And Half-Life Alyx could technically be considered Half-Life 3.
yeah. How many games have they released since Episode 2?
Well, there's Portal 2,
There's Dota 2,
Left 4 Dead,
Left 4 Dead 2,
Yeah.
Artifact.
Artifact, and Half-Life Alyx.
They had all that time. They had all that time to work on a third game. Just shame on them.
The next
Good-
3 we're
good-
going to get
good
is
job,
a
guys.
third
Thank
port
you.
of Skyrim.
Another
Dude,
port.
Honestly,
How many ports are there?
a lot.
Well, there's like the original ones. There's
Okay.
Xbox
So
One.
if during the PlayStation 5 video, if they show Skyrim, I'm going to get in this lobby and I'm just going to scream for 5 minutes straight. I swear to God. If they're like, we're very proud to be launching Skyrim remastered on the PlayStation 5 this holiday. I
what if
swear.
they
Can you
show
imagine? We're
Oblivion?
still waiting for a follow-up on that one teaser for Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, they said
Oh,
that's
that
not
might-
for a decade.
Yeah, they're
Off the top
they're
of
probably
my
still
head,
working
I
on
can count,
Starfield.
17 Skyrim releases.
Dear God. Jeremy,
Lord.
when you scream for 5 minutes straight, will that be how we're going to open the episode or end the episode? Or are you just going to sprinkle it somewhere in the middle?
Well, Nicole is
Ew.
actually going to sample that and make like a remix version of it, and that'll be the new intro music.
Oh my God. I would definitely help mix that.
It's gonna be like the teaser going in and out of commercials, even though we don't have commercials.
What if
It's gonna be
instead
like,
of
we'll be right back with all systems go, and it'll just go, ah!
what if instead of Skyrim? What
You
if
cut out so hard.
what if instead of Skyrim they announced that they're remastering Oblivion instead, and this time they're gonna make it good?
Hey,
Now,
something
that's
different.
great.
Okay,
Hey,
so
we're gonna make New Vegas 4K. Like, that's all we need.
I would buy
we're gonna
that.
make Fallout great again. Wait, it's gonna be based in modern day America.
Honest.
Well, all those backwards compatible games are going to be on the Xbox Series X, supposedly.
The brand new currency of this Fallout game are medical masks. N95, baby.
It's Fallout 20.
The VAT system is now replaced with the vaccine system, and that segues perfectly into Kyle. You left us hanging 2 weeks ago with the Power Ranger color assignment.
Oh, shoot.
What
Oh,
a
that's a call-out
transition.
post.
What a transition.
At Kyle Eads.
Give us our Ranger Sonas, Kyle.
Hold on, let me
You
find
want
my
the
notes.
Ranger Sonas?
And keep in mind,
He just knows.
Push it to
like-
next week.
you can be upset, but you can't ask him to change it. These are final.
Nah, man, you gotta represent the color you are given by Kyle Eads. You gotta rep it proud. Look,
Second.
I know that our viewers have been demanding video support for a long time, and I even prepared. I
Who?
got red lights and blue lights behind
So-
me. I got this white light here, red, white, and blue.
You can't just invent viewer feedback. It doesn't work like that.
Shush!
I mean, he is
you
a
get
viewer.
more
he
so-
can
Dan,
back.
Dan is a
I
viewer,
believe-
therefore he can
so,
provide his
uh,
own feedback.
Yes, do you
The,
not watch YouTube?
So the reason this is gonna have to change on the fly because certain people were on the podcast that were not last time.
No.
And-
You gotta
So-
give your original, not revised.
Well, I'm gonna keep it for them. For example, Jeremy, since you are the host of the podcast, I made you the Red Ranger.
Okay.
He is primarily the leader of the team.
Sounds like a lot of responsibility, but I'm down.
I am jelly.
I made Darian the Blue Ranger.
So,
I did not write down my reason why, but Jeremy is just blue.
I thought Jeremy was
I
red.
made
I'm all of them.
Dan the Yellow Ranger.
I had a feeling I
specifically-
was gonna be yellow or pink. I dang well knew it.
Specifically Ninja Storm, because Ninja Storm's Yellow Ranger is a bit of a goofball, just like you.
So are none of
Aw.
these like are none of these shows specific? These are just like general colors.
Some are, some aren't, because I didn't really have like good reasons and justifications for it. Because I have Nicole's written down as she was the Pink Ranger from Time Force, because she was our producer, and the Time Force Pink Ranger was the leader of the team. So yeah. Were you on the podcast, Max? Because I don't have one for you.
Yes.
Max is a
honestly,
Green
I'm just
Ranger.
offended, regardless.
He's the Green
Yes,
Ranger because
Max
he
is the
sometimes
Green
just
Ranger.
drops in the middle of recording.
That's fair. That's a very Green Ranger thing to do.
Okay, I'll take it.
This is gonna sound very awful.
Uh-oh.
Well, also it's because I haven't used that color. I made Corey the Pink Ranger.
Okay.
What's
I
wrong
saw
with
this
that?
coming.
Corey,
I
yellow
don't
and
remember
pink.
why.
What's up? We're teaming up.
What's up, bro?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember why.
Process of elimination, I'm guessing.
Yeah. You hit your
I
head
think
last
Well,
we
week.
because I
know
used
why.
no, because I've used every color already except black and I don't remember who I made the Black Ranger.
You have already stated that some of these Rangers are from specific seasons, so you could very easily have multiple Rangers of the same color from separate seasons.
That's fair. It's
Why
a
don't we
team up
just all be
episode.
the
There are two
Red
Pink
Rangers?
Yeah,
Rangers.
that
I am
would make a very
disappointed.
weird Megazord, though.
See, no.
Two left
No,
arms.
what happened? What happened? Nicole's in here this week. That's because Nicole passed away, just like in Lost Galaxy when the Pink Ranger dies.
I
Boom.
like how
Save
this is
this.
how we're
Spoilers.
announcing that our editor died.
Can we just have a moment of silence?
Her internet died, which is the next worst thing.
Moment of silence for Nicole.
Yeah,
You're
it goes regular death, and then internet death,
And then bandwidth.
and then like the death of your last life in a video game. That's the hierarchy.
Yeah, that checks out. Is that
Correct.
it, Kyle?
I made myself the 6th Ranger because I wanted to be special.
Okay.
You are special, Kyle.
That sounds
You are
like a
special.
biased choice.
Well,
Well,
I
I
think what
also
we've
did it-
learned is that everyone is special, and everyone's got great things that make them who they are, and that includes you, listener. So thank you for listening to this All Systems Go Home. We talked about a lot of fun topics, and hopefully the next time you hear it, we'll have some even more great stuff. So on account of everyone here, you have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Say
We
goodbye,
love
everyone.
True believers.
Bye.
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 Stay healthy. Bye.
Have a great day.
It's